Hello, everybody, and a very good evening. It's 7 p.m. We are starting the first of the Ollie's Casebook series. Now, as you all know, Ollie's the advertising roundtable, our very own. We have been running a series of what we were calling ad addas for a long time, and subsequently we started also a page in the Facebook page. We had a group. The number keeps on increasing, which is most welcome. And after that, we started a page which was devoted entirely to Bengali advertising of sorts. So we were doing Bangali Addas in that Ollie's page, and the Ollie's Addas in English continued to. We started picking up some subject or the other, got a group of people to sit down, and we went along with it. Earlier, it used to happen, as you know, one adda in a city. But then with the COVID coming in and new platforms of connectivity coming in, we started having somebody from one adda session with somebody from Bangalore, somebody from Gurgaon, somebody from Calcutta coming on the same frame. Now, that was the advantage that we had. Now, somewhere in between, while we continued with our addas, now recently we had, for instance, in the Bengali page, we had Chitto Ghosh taking us down the Bengali advertising history. And there was an adda on 30 Bondil Road and on Clarion office and so on and so forth. Somewhere down the line came up this idea that why don't we have some case studies, because we are all advertising professionals. And frankly, I don't think there is a body active on the Facebook group, on the social group, on the digital world, where such a huge number of talents are all put together, along with a number of youngsters who are always willing to learn. Hardeep Singh had put up a few ads which sort of, I saw them and I remembered, oh my God, what great fun we used to have in those days, where there were these ad wars, they were called. Brand fighting a brand, absolutely street fighting open in the market. So this idea then cropped up, and Hardeep and I started sharing this thing that, can we do this? Hardeep said, great, man, whenever you want, we can do it. And why not? It again, everything takes a little time to put it together. And then we said, no, now that Ollie's is getting structured and there are a lot of things we are planning to do, including running workshops, training, a case study session is a must. Because that way, I'm sure everybody will get to know the wealth we are sitting on. And the first wealth is today. And every Saturday from today, we will try and keep it to every Saturday. I have got my next 2-3 Saturdays lined up. Starting today, every Saturday at 7 p.m., we'll have one, as they say in Hindi, one hasti coming and presenting a case study on advertising. It need not necessarily be a particular brand. It could be a segment. It could be something to do with the advertising behavior, social behavior, whatever you call it. But there will be a case study every Saturday at 7 p.m. So please come to this point every Saturday and go through a case study. I can see numbers are increasing. I will just bring in Hardeep Singh. I know you all are all waiting for him. I'm just making this preliminary speech because this is the first and we hope to go on. So thank you very much for coming in and joining in. And I thought I will first introduce Hardeep Singh. But I think while he is still away in the backstage, and then bring him in the front stage. But I think I'll play a trick. He still thinks I'm going to introduce him and then invite him in. But I think there'll be great fun in getting him in first so that all his fan followers, and pun intended, will be able to see him and feel relaxed that, yeah, he's here. So let me bring in Hardeep Singh ji, and then I will formally introduce him. But I think, waiting for the talk to begin. Yes, Subhash, we are just getting on to it. First show na, first day, first show. Thoda to bolna padega. Chalo. Now, let me bring in Mr. Hardeep Singh. So there you are. Welcome, Hardeep Singh ji. मैंने अभी तक आपको इंट्रोड्यूस नहीं किया, अभी मैं करूंगा. I will do the introduction now because I thought, you should see what I am saying about you. Well, first of all, I think everybody who is watching this program, they know him. Amazing. He knows everybody and everybody knows him. This is the first part of it. But let me tell you some interesting facets about Hardeep Singh. First of all, very surprisingly, he's an engineer by education, and he's known to be a very good design and a development person. But he made his mark as in the professional life as an aggressive marketeer. Now, I was there in Kolkata around the time that his aggressive marketing was happening. In fact, I was actually handling one of his competitive brands, so I know how aggressive he can get. Uh, but the passion for innovative products continued. He is an extremely restless man, I can tell you that. I have had some interaction with him, and he is extremely unconventional in his approach. He inspires his team like anything, and I can tell you that because once I was there with him. It so happened he was there in Guwahati doing a dealer conference. I also happened to be there for one of our clients. And you remember, Hardeep, this was a place, I
Yeah,
mean, this is a
yeah,
very funny hotel
yeah.
called Kuber, where we drank very little late wee hours of the morning. But I could see him the way he was inspiring his entire sales and dealer team. And he has huge fundas, I can tell you, on advertising and communication. All of it showed. Yet he's a not just a fan guy, he's a fun guy. At times his humor is a little bold, and at other times very subtle wit which you have to catch on. Now, Hardeep is a maverick. He has led his golden years of his life with profession and creative pursuits, having had series of successful and satisfying stints in a few companies. He comes from Delhi, but he settled down in Kolkata. And if you ask him why are you not going back to Delhi now that you have done your paid your innings, he will tell you any number of things about Calcutta. And the other day he told me, आपको यहाँ रहना चाहिए था और मेरे को दिल्ली में, but I think we are okay doing where we are. And let me also tell you, Hardeep and I used to stay in the same building for some years. He was always above me on the seventh floor. I was Nietzsche on the third floor, right? So, and what he does now, after having spent years in the fan industry, and he can go on talking about Calcutta's rich culture. So he and his wife are very happily settled here. Children are settled in US. And currently, he is very active in the profession even now as a consultant with Luminous, leading the art framing company. Now, there goes his pursuits as a marketing guy and as an art guy. He has been the president of Advertising Club for 3 years, and during his tenure, he has taken the ad club team, the entire ad club team. I wish I was his secretary then. I was little earlier, but I wish he was with him then. He took them to the Ad Asia Congress in Manila and the Lions Award in Cannes. I'm even more dukhi, but I'm happy that you were able to take, and everybody talks about your leadership in the ad club, including coming out with that book by calling R.K. Lakshman to deliver the Hall of Fame. Now, his exemplary contribution to the fan industry, the Indian Fan Manufacturers Association, which is the apex body of fan manufacturers in India, has been very well recognized. And so, with that, and I must also, I remember a small incident when I was the secretary of the club and I had my backup in Derek O'Brien. And once we were planning this award night and we didn't know what to do. We needed more awards. So we went and told Hardeep ki ek kuch award de do aap Polar ke naam se. So the man who was the former managing director of Polar, whom I'm going to invite, he's going to take over right now. He said, एक काम करो, एक ad बना लो, Polar Pinnacle. वैसे ही कितना चाहिए, 10,000 रुपए ले लो. I still remember that, Hardeep. We had an award in the ad award called the Polar Pinnacle. So the Polar Pinnacle is over here. The man who has been honored by the fan manufacturer. I've seen that video. It's amazing. He's a much honored, the top man in the Indian fan industry, IFMA. So here he is, and it's all yours, Hardeep. As I would like to say in my Delhi word, हम आप उनको तालियों से स्वागत किया जाए. So we are swagating you with taliyas. There you are. It's all yours. The screen is yours.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Sujitda. So many kind words, so many kind words. I do not know whether I deserve them or not. And let me tell all my viewers, say good evening to all my viewers. Very happy to be talking to you and going to present to you. But let me say that Sujit Da has been one of my icons and role models when he was in the competition. He was handling the competition brand. And I was always keen to meet him. And the Guwahati episode that he has said is still very clear. So is the Polar Pinnacle. Thank you very, very much, Sujit Da. At the outset, I must appreciate and I must put it on record for everybody that you are doing a great job as far as the advertising, Oli's Advertising Roundtable is concerned. There are very few people in this country who are as passionate about advertising and communication as you are. So I wish you all the very best in the future endeavors also, and I wish that more and more people join to take benefit, particularly the youngsters, of what has been happening. So here we go, shall we? Without any ado, let's start.
Absolutely. Everybody is welcomed in the meantime. The comment section is filling up with congratulations and welcomes and stuff like that. And now we go straight to the
Thank you, sir.
presentation.
Thank you. Thank
There
you.
we are. All right. 1 minute. Yeah, there we are.
Yeah. Okay. Next, please. This is all right. This is all right. Now, guys, I want to begin. I want to say that, you know what, the subject given to me is about the mid 80s and the 90s as to what is told as the fan wars or brand wars or street smart wars or whatever, etc. Now, what I'm going to be taking to you is uh, bit of the marketing exercises which were being done, bit of the situation of the advertising which was being done, bit of combating. But my more focus would be that on the combat or whatever combating exercises which were there. However, over the period of next few slides that I will be talking, I'll be also talking of the basic strategies also, because without strategies, tactics have no role to play. So let's begin with the first one. In the mid 90s, there were three brands which were ruling the roost. They were at the top: Crompton, GEC, and Rally Fan. Now, these were the fans which were the blue blooded fans. They were liked by the people of Alipur and people of Marani Bagh and people of South Bombay, etc. Uh, Expensive. They were limited volumes being sold, and they were Crompton was only a ceiling fan brand. Rally was largely a table fan, portable fan brand. In the mid segment was largely Usha, Orient, and there was a Bajaj which was not a very strong brand at that time. And Khaitan was emerging as a very strong challenger. Now, a word about Khaitan. Khaitan fans had done wonderful job in the preceding, let us say, before mid 80s, in the preceding 5, 6 years. You know, so far, all the brands were not able to give the customer service. They were not listening to the dealers. The dealers used to queue up in their offices and then get the fans. If the credit note was to be issued, it used to be a big difficulty. Ketan brought the door service for the consumer service. Ketan brought various innovations, advertising in the small measure, and this was where I think all the stalwarts of the competition were involved. And was emerging out as a very strong challenger, and he grew very rapidly, not only for advertising, but for all the beautiful marketing inputs that Khaitan fans had done, and those have become a norm thereafter. So hats off to Khaitan till then. That is fine. At the next level, there were Polar, Ranjan, Calcutta fans, etc., and a few others in Hyderabad. Now, Polar at that point of time was only a very local brand. It had just started emerging out, and it was largely visible only in West Bengal, where it had become quite popular, and also in UP and Delhi. But Khaitan by that time had become a pan India brand. Next, please. Yeah, next, Sujit.
Yeah.
Now, before I begin, let me mention that it is not necessary that all combats were successful. Now, I am going to say as to how Polar fans had a combat with Khaitan or Khaitan had a war with Polar, but it is not necessary that all combats were necessarily successful. But surely, as we will progress and we'll see that 80% were. But what is more important, and this is for all the students of marketing and advertising to know, that any time that you are entering into a aggressive mode, you must be ready with the course corrections. And I think this was the highlight of the Polar fans at that point of time, that course corrections were quickly planned. In fact, they were already planned much ahead of time as to if this happens, then what will be the course correction? If this happens, then what will be the course correction? And the beautiful thing was that the course corrections were planned and executed in a manner that the perception given to the channel, because channel was the most important element in the entire exercise, the perception given to the channel was that this combat was successful. even though it may not have been successful. And the course corrections were the important element in this entire strategy. Please note all the youngsters who are listening and all the advertising people, also the marketing people, also. The third point is that the leading channel partners were kept on the right side. Channel partners even today have a great role to play, but those times the channel partners had a big role to play. So unless you had the channel partners on your right side, nothing could have been done. This was a very important factor. No personal event, but yes, it was a warfare. Now, this is very interesting. A lot of people, even today when I meet, they say, "Aapko to koi revenge hoga, koi na koi baat hogi," because the way you people were fighting as if there's a dog versus dog in the marketplace. No, it was a warfare. We had to succeed. If somebody has to succeed, somebody has to go down. That is a way, because either you take the market share out of the growth market share, or you snatch away the market share from somebody. So who do you snatch away? If you snatch away from somewhere, the other person will be hurt. Now, at that point of time, let me also mention that you will remember the mid 70s onward, there was this Amitabh Bachchan movies and the Bollywood syndrome. They were aggressive challengers, Janjeer, Trishul, and all that. So the market and the consumers and the people and the everybody was lapping up and supporting the aggressive challengers. So it was decided as to why we should not be aggressive challengers in case we can do all what has been written here. Next, please. Sujita, I'm going all right, so that I'm going a little quickly, and the question answer we'll take it up
Yeah, yeah,
later.
yeah.
Okay.
Done, done. Go ahead.
Now, guys, you must understand this was regarding the Polar Fairs. As I told you, at that point of time, Khaitan Fairs was a national level player. Polar was only a player which was not even available in 20 to 25% of the national market. So the Polar fans decided they had a double ball bearing in every fan. In fact, everybody had double ball bearings in all the fans. They had 7 year guarantee. This was given by default because Khaitan fans were having 5 year guarantee. So Polar thought I am the later entrant, so they made 7 year guarantee, thinking that 7 year is bigger than 5 year, so that will be all right. Fine. So this was the plank which was there. So it was decided that as far as strategy is concerned, at least for a few years, we'll continue harping on this double ball bearing 7 year guarantee. And in tactics, at that point of time, the off-season discounts used to be given in percentages. You know, the bigger brands used to say 8% off-season in August, 7% in the month of September, etc. And the consumer was not knowing anything. So if you buy a fan in the wholesale market of Calcutta or Bombay, you tend to get good price because the competition was there. But if you tend to go to, let us say, a place like Balasore in Odisha or a place like Unnao, then what happens is that the consumer was not getting the benefit of the off-season discount. So we decided that off-season discount is one tactic where there should be a definitely a particular strategy so that we can have a better communication skill, communication plank with the consumers, and the consumers must get the benefit. We also decided that there should be aggressive postures to show superiority. Now, to whom to show? So we decided, Polar decided that, look, we must focus on the brand which is just ahead of us. We should not take, okay, let us buy this, we will do, then Usha will happen, Orient will happen, Crompton will happen. We are running a race. Let's first cross the race from the guy who's in front of us, which was Khaitan, and then we'll take the further. Very interesting thing. This I must tell you is the one which paid hugely dividend. We had decided basically uh, the boundary lines that we will spend 80% on strategy and 20% on attack. So if I had we had the budget of about 54 lakhs, 20% was meant to really pull the tail shirt of the person who's ahead of us. And then we said, okay, now, in any warfare, whether it is current warfare between one country to another country, we all know that the mindset psychology of the brand owners or the people who are the CEOs is very, very important. There are some people who do not react on the assaults. There are some people who get peevish. There are some people who have egos, etc., etc. So we understood that who is the person ahead of us, who is the one who is handling, and how will he react in case we are aggressive. Last point, which am repeating, documentations and course corrections were done quickly and documentation was kept handy. Next, please. I think I will pick up my speed after a little while. Okay, now mid 80s. So now Polar did not have any national level advertising company. So we started doing hello, hello, testing, testing, warming up. And next, please. Next. Now, this is a very silly ad if you see. I am not very proud of it, but this was made by one small agency. Ketan fans had started and Usha fans had started giving, but Usha was not on our target because that was much, much ahead of us. They had started giving some free gifts on something like the scratch card system, which is today. So we came out to test that supposing we were to make an assault, how would Ketan people react? So we said free gift paid by yourself. Now that's not fair. Compare the prices of ceiling fans with double ball bearing, etc., etc. Not a very creative ad, but well, it was only a hello, hello testing to see how Ketan fans will be reacting. Of course, they reacted peevishly. They made sure that we put these posters up in the dealer shops, and the channel partners were there, and they behaved very peevishly. And we understood that any assault that we will make in future is likely to yield results to us in case we kind of make them peevish. Okay, next, please. Now, at this point of time, we were very fortunate that we joined hands with Lintas. It was an agency. Normally, Lintas would not join hands with a small little upstart like us. But as it happens in every advertising agency, and Sujita will know that every 3, 4 years, I think there is some kind of a boardroom discussion as to which are the product lines we are not yet handling, and which are the brands which can handle, and which are the brands which are upcoming. So up from the Alec Padmasis downward, or all the people came that here Polar is the brand you can depend upon because Ketan fans has got STA, etc., etc. So we had a new agency, and the dual focus started, and better quality of advertising started. Yes, please. Now what I'm going to show is, yeah, what I'm going to show is large ads focusing on 7 year guarantee. The guarantee card is there, and the message was clear. Look, this is how Polar makes sure that you don't get the duds that other fan manufacturers. Now, without naming the other fan manufacturers, the aggressiveness in the spirit was there. दूसरे का नाम लेना ही है अभी नाम as a particular बाद में ले लेंगे but well and showed all kinds of the these are the ones the production line which is there. This is a routine in all the manufacturing lines, but the fact of the matter is we showed it, we talked about it, and in every advertisement the double ball wearing and the 7 year guarantee was the one which was the highlighting factor. Next, please. Another one, see, this is why you can hear the difference between Polar and ordinary fans. And double ball bearing cutout was shown. The double ball bearing cutout, etc., was also made out actually dummies and shown in the dealer places so that the dealer would be able to give the demo that this is why it is good. The fact of the matter is, others also had the double ball bearing, but they were not shouting about it. And double is always better than single. Next, please. These were the small lines, and as you would see, the aggression had started. Of the 5 leading brands in India, only one is 7 year guarantee. Of the 5 leading brands in India, so automatically, while we were number 7 or 8 or so, we had repositioned ourselves at least on the 5 leading brands. So one step taken without naming, so we became from 7 or 8 right away in the club of 5 or so, and this was started in by Lintas. Very good job done. Next, please. I'm hurrying this up because I'll come to the combat situation quickly. Now, this is very interesting. There's no creative on it, but I'm going to talk about it. This was somewhere in 1984 beginning. Ketan fans introduced, remember, again and again, no personal enmity, no personal ego war. It was just that we had to snatch away the market share of the guy in front of us and make him feel peevish. Now, Ketan introduced a fan called Super High Breeze. Just note the spellings. Now, Super High Breeze and High Breeze were very generic name. And this was a fan which was about 100 rupees costlier than the rest of the fans. Good fan, very good fan. And my hats off to Ketan fans. They were good innovators. They were good in technology, etc. So we said, hey, we can't let this opportunity go. So we made one of our younger, lesser important fans, which was 100 rupees cheaper as a super hybrids without E. We said, let there be there. We took the kind of the approval of the barrister at law in Calcutta, and we said, boss, we are doing it. You will handle it. He says, yes, yes, I'll handle it. You have changed the spellings, no problem. These are generic names. So now what happens is we are not advertising. Ketan fans is spending money on the advertising. His fan is 100 rupees higher than the normal fans. Our fans is, I think, 50 rupees or 75 rupees cheaper than the normal fans. They are also super hybrids to speak. I'll also super hybrids to speak. And the dealer is being given extra margin. Now, this was a harakari for some weeks because the customer would ask for super hybrids after coming from Khatan's advertisement, and the channel partner who was in front of us would say, आप पोलर का सुपर हाइब्रिड क्यों नहीं ले जाते? वो कहते हैं हाँ सुपर वो तो सस्ता है, etc etc. Now, whether we won or they lost, that is not the issue. The fact of the matter is that we spoiled their advertising campaign. That is what it is. I don't think we gained much out of it, but this was another episode of testing waters to say that we can do something because the channel partners will support us. Thank you very much, Sujit. Next, please. Now, it is not necessary that all the combat has to be supported with the advertising and communication. That is not important. So I'll go the next 4 or 5 years till 1988-89. We decided because there was a truce that we will not do any combat, but we kept on doing our double ball bearing 7 year guarantee, double ball bearing 7 year guarantee mantra. The polar presence became all India. We appointed distributors and dealers all over the country. CAGR of 36%. We gave very lucrative channel partners. Now, in this particular position, let me say that during the course of all this time, somewhere the market started slipping from Khaitan fans, and we had much better quality perception, and our USP plank was very good. At the dealers counter, at the channel partners counter, if you give a particular reason for a channel partner to speak to the consumer as to why he should buy a new brand, that becomes the turning point. So the why he should buy 7 year guarantee. He would say 7 साल की guarantee इतनी लंबी चाहिए क्या? He says मैं बैठा हूँ 7 साल की guarantee, etc. etc. And there were huge tactical and hugely successful off-season campaigns. So this was a growth period for us, and I will show you the successful off-season campaigns in the next one. Yeah, next please. No, before that, interesting. You see, all this while 5 year, 7 year guarantee, 7 year guarantee, 7 year guarantee. Yes, next please. All this while 7 year guarantee, all this hullabaloo that we were doing. Somewhere Khaitan fans men found it out, or they realized that 5 years, 5 is less than 7. So obviously, Hindustan में तो दो एक से बड़ा 7 से 5 बड़ा है. It's not a question of brand. And they had invested huge money in 5 year guarantee, but they were finding it that we were flicking it all the time and we were growing. So a decision was taken by Khaitan fans that they will change the rules of the game, and they invested hugely on 1 year replacement bond. It was a good effort, very, very good from strategy point of view, but perhaps chose the wrong time because the opponent was still shouting the 7 year guarantee, etc., etc. So this was the scene that the situation had changed, that the 5 year guarantee of Khaitan became 1 year. Channel partners became very upset. There was some kind of a lull in the sales, and the polar fans, people started jumping up and down more on the 7 year guarantee. Next, please. Now, guys, this is then let me tell you some of the brand building and successful off-season campaigns till 1998. As I was telling you that we had all the polar fans had all the growth of 36% CAGR. Next, please. Now, this was a beautiful campaign by Lentas. Osaka, Japan is now 18 kilometers off Delhi. 18 kilometers off Delhi is Noida. That is where we set up the factory. And there were various things. It was a campaign which was very well thought of. It put us in the upper bracket. There was no aggressiveness in this. Sophistication was this. So we had decided that on one side in strategy we will be sophisticated. On the other side we will be having aggression, and aggression of two kinds. One where we will name the competitors, and the other we will be basically talking about all the others. Next, please. As I was mentioning to you, off-season discount used to be 8%, 7%. So we said, hey, the consumer wants to know what how many rupees it is off. So this was a beautiful communication decided by Lintas, 45 rupees off, so that even the person in, let us say, Muzaffarnagar or Muzaffarpur or even in Bhagalpur, he will go and say, मेरे को पिछले महीने से 45 रुपए सस्ता दो. So we had empowered the consumer, and this had paid rich dividends to us. Next, please. We went a step further. We went a step further in the sense that we said, let's empower the consumer to tell him the exact price. So we chose one particular model of 48 inches fan, which is the largest selling fan, and we told the dealers, we said, this is a come hither price, and you will be getting less margin on this, but we will compensate by the others. So there will be state wise. Remember, those days the sales tax used to be different for different states. So there were different prices for different states. And this was a huge task in press advertising, because the mats were different and the designs were different and the prices were different and the octroys were different. But we empowered the consumer. And in those 4 months of the off-season discount that we did, we had a growth of almost 300% over last year, because the consumer in every small place will say, 526 रुपए का पंखा चाहिए. He was empowered, and that was a great thing. The dealers did resist, but we told them, whatever is your loss, we'll compensate by the others. And this was a huge tactical kind of a breakthrough that we had done, and well, tremendous work. Next, please. Now it was a time 1988-89. We said we have already been talking that of the top five brands, let's pick up the top three and take them head on. But we did a lot of preparation. We found it out as to what was their single ball bearing models. We found it out. All the best of documentation fully was done, and entire exercise was done, including as to what will be the legal repercussions, what will be the MRTPC repercussions. We had appointed a lawyer in advance in the MRTPC to, please show the ad. Then I will next, please. Then I will say. So the headline said, why is Polar's guarantee period longer than Usha, Orient's, and Khatan put together? Remember, Khatan had become 1 year, others are 2 years, so 5 years, Polar is 7 years. Now, straight head on. This is Linta's job. I must say, at this point of time, Lintas were hesitant to put this up. I had to give a personal kind of indemnity to Lintas, saying in Bombay that if there is any litigation, etc., I stand guarantee, and you are not. I am the ownership of this. But what we did was we had a huge backup ready, a lawyer in Delhi who will fight the MRTPC case, or who will ensure that if there is a MRTPC, there will be no injunction, which will be ex party, so that we get a our job was we should get 10 to 15 days window, so that while others keep on struggling with what legal actions are to be done, we will do it. And not only that, there were two ads, and we had also got the mats ready as an escape route without the names of these brands, which is not here with me, in which it said, why is Polar's guarantee put together longer than the top three brands put together? So that, and what we had done was that we had black and white posters of this sent to all the people all over the country. We had also done various mischievous things were done. Our chairman was a very, very decent kind of a guy, and he was always, he could have been influenced by the rest of the Usha and Orient and Khatan people. So we chose a particular Saturday, and we told him that he had to go for his trip to, he and his wife went over for a trip to Rajasthan somewhere. Those were not the mobile phone date, but he postponed it to the next. So we had to postpone the release to the next without telling them anything, except that we had told them that something aggressive we will do. What we'll do, we are not clear. So all the things were in kept secrecy. The posters had reached all the branches, the mats had reached all the people. Next ad, please. Second ad was, are you 100% sure of getting your money's worth? when you buy an Usha Orient or a Khaitan instead of a Polar. I must tell you, at that point of time, there were models of Usha. Models Orient was always single ball bearing, and Khaitan had started making single ball bearing. We were still double ball bearing. So on two planks, one is a 7-year guarantee, a double ball bearing. We hit them hard. And as I said, this was the beginning of a beautiful growth. We had empowered our dealers became energized, those who were supporting us. Our boys were the tigers in the marketplace, and because their chati was chodi, कि हमने उनको डंडा मार दिया. It is David versus Goliath and all that. And of course, all these guys went up to MRTPC and all that, but we had all the connections and all the work done so that there is a 15 days window to us. We did not require more than that because our job was not that you keep on advertising it. Our job was that we had decided in our mind that at a suitable time we will compromise and say, sorry, sir, galti ho gayi, kya ho gaya? And we'll again become a part of the fraternity that is there. And the lesson that I want to tell everybody is that you must be ready with all the documentation which was already ready to be given to MRTPC, all the wherewithal, all the good sweet talk with the competitors, all saying that the chairman is not here, he's gone on a pilgrimage, etc., etc. What can I do? I will only be able to do when he comes back. I'm only an employee, etc., etc. And we're very clear that when the chairman comes back, the chairman will say, "ये गलत काम किया, हटा दो." हम say हटा देते हैं. But the posters which were already put up all over the country in the dealer shop, they would continue for another month or 2 months or so, while the competitors will keep on saying, "वहाँ तो है," with the BTL exercise is competitive. And we had kept ourselves the alternatives ready without the brand names, but somehow that occasion did not arrive. But our mats and all that, youngsters would not know what is mat. But let me tell you, those days were difficult for the advertising people because they had made each individual mats to be given to the publications, etc., etc. Now, Sujita and my viewers, I want to tell you, there are very few examples in 1988, 89, or whatever this was, of companies. There was one of Modi Xerox, which had already done with HCL perhaps, but this was a bold move. This move paid dividends to us. This move was the best one in the sense that we got a lot of good employees and salesmen from the competitors inducted into our company because they say, hey, this is an aggressive company. Lot of dealers who were on the sidelines came to us and joined hands with us. And we had amazing growth during this period of time. Thank you very much. Next, please. I'll take questions on all these in case there are any questions. Now, what happened was this was uh, actually to Khaitan it was intolerable. Usha was big people. They said, "Bolte hai to bolne dijiye." Orient was a very dull company. Today, Orient is an outstandingly vibrant company, but at that point of time, it was a typical company which had no energy. It was the only thing they knew was good technology and good fans. So how could Khaitan fans keep quiet? Because they were doing it. So next, please. So Khaitan came out with an ad. Do you want a 7-year guarantee or a fan like Khaitan? Here are Khaitan pluses. Now, my God. Now he made a cardinal mistake, or we would not have left it. 7-year guarantee was a property which was built up for Polar. Khaitan used it. It was a good property. It was a good advertisement. It was a good thing, provided Polar would not have said anything. It was wonderful because he was hitting hard on 7-year guarantee. At this point of time, I think Khaitan fans went a step further and also put up a case that Polar's 7-year guarantee is not 7-year guarantee, it is less. It is guarantee versus warranty, etc., etc. So that was resolved. We changed the entire thing to 2 plus 5 year, but yet it is 7-year. So that was on the sidelines. But how could we keep quiet on this? So what we decided was that we will have exactly the same replica of an ad bipolar, which will be actually confusing the people. And 7-year guarantee is our property. And look at the next ad, please. The same font, The font was not available with Lintas because that was font was HDA, but they did cut and paste and all that. So fan bias, can you get a fan as good as a Polar with 7 year guarantee? So Khatan 7 year guarantee, we started it, certainly not because these are the reasons, etc., etc. Polar guarantee is the longest because Polar confidence is the highest. Come to earlier ad once again, please, Sujita. Now, next ad. Now, guys, you will next ad, please. Polar ad. Now,
No,
this was
polar
one
air. Yes.
thing. This was no, this was both are lookalikes. Everything is fine. So this was also there. Now, what happened is that we did not have much money. I must confess to you at that point of time, and Khatan had more money. But we thought that if we keep on doing like this, it will hurt us also because there will be questions which will be raised. So a social kind of a networking strategy was adopted. Those who know about Calcutta know that there is something called Victoria Memorial Morning Walkers, who are the industry's leading industrialists, go there. So the word was spread around that Ketanji, you are making a mistake. This 7 year guarantees polar property. The more you advertise, the more they will gain. The fact of the matter is, we didn't have the money. We released only 2 ads. They released five, and abruptly they stopped. Our job was done. Because at the end of the day, our job was only to become heroes in front of the channel partners. Remember aggressiveness, remember Bollywood, remember Amitabh Bachchan. We would not leave. हम तो मुक्का मार के आगे चले. So that was the strategy, and this is what happened. And with every kind of an aggression, we found a new energy with our team, new energy within ourselves, new energy within the channel partners to do better and better. Next, please. Now, as we said, as I told you, that 80% of our money we were spending on the strategies, and we were growing. So we were making breakthrough products. We had at that point of time decided to go in for various innovations. Polar was the first one to come out with the colored ceiling fans, first one to come out with the bicolor ceiling fans. Next, please. First one to be coming out with the various fans like ऐसा हो या वैसा choice polar जैसा. The country had not seen the colorful fans, and the aspirational middle class and the lower middle class, they wanted colors in their rooms. And I must say that all these were innovations which were done, which are these were incremental innovations. I won't call them. These were only aesthetic upgradations, differentials from the rest of the people, and we did. The strategy was very clear. We would be coming out with one fan colors, go it for about 3 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, ready in the wings for a couple of more. So these were the advertisements which were done by Lintas, whether it is Colgate or Pepsodent, etc. So this path we took, and this path we continued taking, and the next one we came with a very breakthrough product, which is the children fan, Polar Cool Cats. Now, this was a revolutionary thing, born out of just simple discussion that the young lady Sharon Prabhakar, who was a pop singer, she wanted for her daughter's room some colorful fan. So we asked one of the Bengalis are creative people. We had a creative printing guy. He told me, he gave me three, four, five different designs. I said, hey, this is a possibility. And Sajid Peerboy of Spear in Bombay, he was the one who did a remarkable job, did a lot of market research in Mumbai, Bombay Scottish, and all those schools. My friend Pradeep Roda, if he is listening here, I will say hats off to him from Bombay. He was a general manager. He did a great job. And we came out with this. And mind you, we were the first. It gave us a lot of media coverage in India Today, Business World, Business India, Brand Equity, all that. And all the various people, high ups, use these fans. These were simple screen printed fans, which were very beautiful at the various, and they were pre-teens, they were kids, they were babies, kids, pre-teens, teens, and young at heart. Various models were there. At that point of time, in the first year, we sold almost 5% of our total fans from the Cool Cat fans. It was a it was a product which was amazing, and today it is a norm in the market, norm in all the brands. All the brands have somebody has Doraemon, somebody has the various ones. So great. This gave us a great fillip, both in terms of the salience, advertising salience, sales, as well as the recognition that we do whatever the others can't do. Next, please. Interesting headlines. Very interesting. Fans should make head spin. You know, hostel should be co-ed. Lecture should be in rap. Imagine. I mean, this was absolutely fantastic. Next, please. This is another case history which I would like to say, but today is not the day for that. Today is for the aggression. Okay, 1993. Okay, 1988, 89, somewhere the Shansha picture came. And then 1992 or 93, we came out with a fan which was equivalent to Sydney was the hottest fan, hot selling fan as far as the uh, table fan, black table fans were concerned. Next, please. And there was no competition. And dealers used to get a lot of margins on it. So we said, okay, इसको क्यों छोड़े भाई सिर्फ केतान के पीछे क्यों पड़े हम इसके पीछे भी पड़ जाते हैं so the first ad which is not here, which had to be taken out, was out here it is written काले पंखों के शहंशाह की खुली चुनौती सिन्नी और आगे बाकी सभी पंखे होशियार एक अकेला जबरदस्त and below Amitabh Bachchan's caricature is written Sinni. But the first one was काले पंखों का के शहंशाह की को खुली चुनौती अमिताभ बच्चन आ गया है you know that is the kind of the thing एक अकेला जबरदस्त but then those were the days that we were always very terrified Congress anyway the bottom line is that we got some calls from somewhere that this is not on and we immediately changed it and we made Shansha in caricature and we said okay Sinni will not fight but Amitabh Bachchan and the group will fight so unka naam hata dete hain and let us do that this gave us a great fillip and mind you this was also very interesting a very sideline interesting story is that one of the buyers of Harrods who's an Indian buyer and a Bengali buyer he was a Bengali fellow he was a resident of UK and he was a Harrods had sent him to India to buy all these antique fans. And he was in Varanasi when he saw the ad. So he came all the way to Polar in Calcutta. And we struck a deal. I went over to Harrods. And Harrods in 1 year had bought almost 50,000 fans of ours, which was amazing. And what great, that was a great breakthrough. And it all happened because of this one ad that the guy saw in Varanasi when he was, negotiating with the Harrods. Anyway, तो मुक्का इनको भी मार दिया चलिए next it is 1946 I'll be very quick now okay I'll be quick here fresh breakthroughs in the new models continue yes continue please now we came out with 48XL which was done by Swapan Seth and Equus and all the people and Anurag Hira if they are listening they'll be proud this was one of the breakthrough and today 48XL means 1220 mm or 1225 mm sweep is a norm in the market so we were doing our job of technology and everything. Next, please. It's already 1946. I will wrap up in 10 minutes. But there's one interesting story. Okay, by this time, Polar was ahead of Katan Fan, so the focus shifted to the next brand ahead. Next, please. This is very interesting. You see, this what happened was that I will not hesitate in naming it. Usha fans used to have the conference all over the country in the month of February and March. And innocently, the guy who was handling the Usha, the event in Delhi, he came over to our Delhi office, we're sitting with our general manager, and he had the beta of Usha, which was to be shown in the next day conference. And he kept it and he forgot it to take it back because he had come to for some negotiation. And I get a call quickly from my general manager saying कि उषा का बीटा आया है तो ऐसा स्टूडियो को खुलवा के रात को देखो उसको कॉपी करो कॉपी कर लिया it was made by Shami Narang it had very uncomplimentary words for Polar but it had all the complimentary words for them so I said Usha used to go all over the country to do it I said okay I called my friend Rahul Chaudhary in Bombay if he is listening hats off to you Rahul and I said you do a storyline for this almost dubbing and even if you don't have he says boss iska layer nahi hai iska to sound mix hai I said whatever it is you do it and we came out with a video in which all the dialogues were changed all the voiceover was changed everything was in favor of Polar and we made about 100 videos sent it to the top dealers of the country And before they could do the complete chakkar, the dealers used to see their VCR at home, the video, and start laughing and hey, isko bhi mukka maar diya, and nothing which was illegal or something. So those were the fun times we had. Next, please. No, I don't know whether it is ethical or not, but what the hell. Now, this was a very interesting. This is, I'll take 5 minutes only. A challenging and daring campaign. Khaitan fans came out with a very, very beautiful model. Next, please. Now, this was a fan. The image is not very clear, but I'll read the headlines. If you can find a fan that delivers more air, we'll pay 5,000 rupees. This is what Khaitan says. And he has given the reasons in the body copy that they are better and this and that. And there are candles, and you can see it. Very, very good. But well, why should we keep quiet? And I think my friend Swapan said, always ready with a smart answer. He says, boss, we should not let it go. I said, okay, what do we do? So he said, we must answer. And here's the next line. But in the meanwhile, we did all the documentations and all that to see. We said, buy a polar fan and get rupees 5,000 from Qatar. Now, this is huge. This is huge. The guy is saying if you get a better fan, better air delivery, buy this. Now, the classic mistake made by Khaitan fans is he only talked of the air delivery and not the rest of the wattage, etc. And we had a fan which could give better air delivery, or this could we had the certificates at least. So we said, okay, please see the earlier one again, please. Earlier one, can we see it again, Sujita? If you
Yeah.
find a fan that delivers more air, we'll pay rupees 5,000. Fair point. He's not irritating us. The Khaitan fans people are not irritating. They've got a fan, which is a wonderful fan. No, he's not written wattage. Fine. He's written more air. Yes, it is there. But why should we keep quiet? Aggression does not mean कि हमारे को कोई मुक्का मारे तभी मुक्का मारो. We should also be showing our mettle, na. So the next one, and this is hats off to one of my most favorite uh, uh, whatever you may say, the response, you buy a polar fan and get rupees 5,000 from Qatar. Now, time being short, I'm not going into the details of how the litigation happened and all that, but suffice it to say that it was quickly settled out of court because it was not in his interest, and we had the documentation to prove that we had a fan which had better air delivery, or at least we had the documentation of better air delivery, etc., etc. But that is stories left for another day. But I can tell you that it is not just only the ad. There was a lot of homework which was done. This had one more point. I'll just quickly say. We had Manas Chatterjee, or if he's listening, I think we talked to the publication, and the first ad that we released, which was 1 week later, was released on the same page as their ad, because we managed it in the evening by going to the page maker. Of course, the page maker got a big blast from the management the next day, and thereafter we would have it on any other day. But first ad जो हमने release किया, we manipulated that the day Khaitan ad came on the page number which his came, our ad also came. Now that was huge. So as I say, it is a 360 degrees approach of aggression which was there. Next, please. We are almost at the end. Now, then, of course, by which time we were much ahead, focus on basic strategy of innovative and colorful fans. We launched a trendsetter winner. Next, please. This fan is another history. Today, 80% of the fans being made in this country are wider blades at the end. We were the first trendsetters which were there. And I mean, this was, and the fans were having the shades, which are the metallic shades, which are now the norm. It was amazing. It was absolutely an amazing thing. Next, please. Now is the, well, we are at the end of my conversation. We have 10-15 minutes for the question answer. By the end of 90s, that is what the subject given to me was. कि कब तक 80s and 90s में बताइए. Polar was number one ceiling fan in 6 states: West Bengal, Bihar, Odisha, UP, Andhra, northeastern states. Polar created aesthetically upgraded fans as a norm in the industry. It is Polar has been responsible for almost 38 incremental uh, improvements or innovations, you can say, which have been done, which are a norm in the industry now. So one of them is the aesthetically upgraded fans, etc., etc. The I mean, I don't have to speak. High-speed portable fans were never there. We started with a Stormy fan, and then we started with a 12, which is Super Stormy fan, and now the high-speed fans are in 400 mm, and all the people are making Polar safety guard on exhaust fans. There were no safety guards. Now the safety guards started coming. Everybody is having a norm. So it's a matter of very great deal of pride for the Polar team, particularly the technical team and the marketing team, that they worked hand in hand for all this. Next and the last one, perhaps. So at that point of time, for almost 3 to 4 years, Polar was the third largest selling brand with top two brands having 18% and 17% share, and Polar being at close 16%. Now these figures are all validated and all that. And I have taken more time, Sujitda. You had given me 45 minutes. It's already 54 minutes. But if you cut out the introduction, then I'm on my queue, and I'll be very happy to answer any questions. I must tell all of you that some of the things which I have mentioned, both for the students of advertising as well as students of marketing, please be ready. Any aggression that you do, you must be ready for 360 degrees working. You must be ready for the course corrections. You must be ready for the dropouts with all the grace and humility, but giving a perception that you have not lost. And you must be ready for compromises. That is what it is. And thank you very, very much. I'm open to question answers, please. Thank you, Sujita. Thank you, viewers. You have been patiently listening to me. I owe a sense of gratitude to each one of you.
Hardeep ji, I'd like to start. I'm not saying anything right now because I'm still, I've just taken the punch. This was amazing, absolutely amazing. You were not only taking us back in time, but I did not know for the life of me that dealer conference was hijacked, that Usha story that you told us, or that your owner was sent away to Pilgrim, and while you all did all naughty things behind his back. And when he came, he said, "Aisa tum log ne galbad kar diya hai." But this was really, what shall I say? I'll give you the first reaction that I have here is from somebody we all know. There it is. That's it. Can you see that?
Yeah, Shiri
Raju,
was a
can
great person. Shiri, that was to you. You know, Shiri has been a very, very integral part of our communication and everything. And not only that, she was an advertising, she's an excellent copywriter. She's an excellent story. And she was the one who was, standing shoulder to shoulder with me. Shiri, hats off to you. I owe a sense of
and
gratitude to
that,
Shiri also.
well, I thought that would be the thing if I put up She's first comment as
I
the
am
first
so
comment over
delighted.
here.
I'm so delighted to see Shri being there, and I can tell you stories about Shri later. There will be another one.
And here is
Subhash.
Mr.
Now,
Tigrawale,
this is
Subhash.
a
Yeah.
guy, Sujit, this is a guy who's an amazing guy. He has got the grip of the entire UP, Rajasthan, Uttarakhand market in his hands. There is nobody else. If there are three people who understood the market pulse very well, it was Mr. S.K. Khaitan of Khaitan Fence at one point of time. It is Mr. Subhash Tibrewal of him, and in our founder chairman Sajan Agarwal. So hats off to Subhashi. He's still very active in the business in fans, and I tell you that there were a lot of brainstorming sessions done by him, and he is the one who held Polar at a number one position in UP for a long, long, long time. God bless you. I mean,
Uh,
I have been able to do what we have been able to do, and this is another great guy, Ravi Vora, Muzaffarpur. Sir, aapko kamal hai. We had 24 inches and 36 inches. I'm sorry I stopped. I did not mention about it. Ravi Vora is an outstanding channel partner in Muzaffarpur, and uh, yes, 24 inches and 36 inches ceiling fans, which were typical of Calcutta. I don't know which had guard, which you can see various. The entire Burma market of Madras, 95% of the market was there. The entire market of Calcutta, Isra Street, used to be having their Nai Sadak in Delhi used to have. Why we have stopped, I don't know. Perhaps I can't ask this question to my ex company, but I will certainly put it up to my existing company to say that let's examine it. Thank you very much, Ravi ji. Well, this is another gentleman. He's absolutely correct. The test market for success of a new product used to be Kerala. Absolutely. And we went all the way from here to Kerala first. And we had appointed a gentleman called CNV Iyer there. And Sukhdev Singh ji knows about it. And Sukhdev ji, if I remember correctly, was in Bangalore. He was one of the dynamic persons and associated with the fan industry at one point of time. And it was a point that it used to be. Oh, Ramesh Uppal. Thank you, Ramesh ji. Thank you. I began my career with him. I began my career with him, and it used to be real fun in the FMA meetings. This was a time when Sujita, everybody used to be talking about 5 rupees undercutting here and there. आपने 5 रुपए काट दिया, आपने 5 रुपए काट दिए, ये कर दिया, वो कर दिया. Today, the world has come to a different level. People are not talking about 5 rupees, 7 rupees. The fan prices are, the average selling price of a good fan is now 5,000, 6,000 rupees, and people are happily giving it because there is a technology involved, not only just aesthetics. So those were different times, and that is the reason the fans which were made at that point of time were perhaps not very good in quality because everybody was cutting the quality. Now, but it was fun at that time, a different kind of an aberration. Today, it is fun of a positive nature. I this is the gentleman who we owe a great deal of thanks. Now Lintas recently retired from Lintas, started his career with me and in Polar, but soon shifted to very short spin, but outstanding. I think he is very right that we were run over the weekend so that before the competition could bring a stay order. This is what I was explaining. The campaign, DK, you are absolutely correct. You are spot on that the campaign was launched on Friday. And then Saturday, Sunday, we could manage our. Thanks to Makhija Saab is listening or Sanjeev Lal is listening. And this was a regular routine kind of a thing. We had perfected the art of aggression and perfected the art as to how they can do. Because even on Monday, when the advertising agency will open, before that they will not open. So then the competition will go into and in the huddle and do what they could not. So this was DK is absolutely spot on. Thank you, DK, for bringing this. Alina, I have some love. Now, this I must tell you, Sujita. I was in Bombay. Alina had written some very strong copies. I mean, if there is two people I have a great respect for who can think concurrently in multiple languages, one of them is Alina. Swapan Seth is another one of my friend. He can think of English, Hindi, Punjabi, etc. So I was there and she gave me some wonderful line, bring home the winds of change. बदलती हवा का झोंका which we use winds of change and then a competition without naming the leading competition at that point of time they use it and I said hey their vice president was a junior to me I said what are you doing guy हटा दे नहीं तो मैं सेट कर दूंगा तेरे को and then I found suddenly that in Kerala I go and the winds of change there are boards which are put on the winds of change by a local new guy. Three fellows used this winds of change till today, and one, of course, used instead of badalti hawa ka jhoka, he used thandi hawa ka jhoka as if it's a cooler. I would love to work with Elena anytime. I think she is very sharp, very, very good. Wherever you are, Elena, God bless you. I always keep you in my mind when I think of all those aggressions. And yours were, of course, sophisticated aggressions. Suhasini Paul, very nice. I'm so happy that you are joining us. She is wonderful, wonderful, very creative person. And Suhasini, hats off to you. I've seen some of your creativity in the fans also, and I think time for us to connect someday with you both. Very nice. Thank you. Okay, Narayanan. Well, Narayanan, yes, 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 yes. Thank you very much, my dear. Thank you very much. And I know that you were in Philips earlier. I know about it, but I'm glad that you have known more about it. But yes, we had good interactions, and all I'll say, God bless. Yeah. She has been a mentor, yeah. Who in Calcutta would not? Indrani ji, to, Indrani ji, aap to, you are an institution in media and institution otherwise also. I'm so sorry that she is no longer with our midtown and she's shifted to Pune and then she goes over to her daughter in England also. We miss you all, but some of the recent things that you have done for Oli are very, very good. I've shared that with our media people also. Please continuing inspiring us with all that. Thank you very much, Indrani ji. So, boss, time is yours. I mean, we shouldn't overshoot. I leave it to you.
Yeah, I just want to. Yeah, no. We will. Let's look at a few more. And so then where is this? Some keep time. Shudip Malik says that this is very interesting and instructive session. Urmimala Chaudhary, interesting and instructive. Um, and I know Shudip has, he runs away after all these sessions when we start, वो भाग जाता है 2 मिनट अपना मुंह दिखाकर, but that he has sat through till the end of it. I think that is a litmus test कि ये बहुत बढ़िया शो था. Take me on this later outside, but not right now. And Urmimala says that the background stories are amazing.
Thank you.
It
Thank
was a
you.
wonderful.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you
very
very
much.
much.
Thank you.
And Kishore Chakravarti, who I will be announcing this in the end, who is going to make the next presentation next Saturday at 7 o'clock in our
Okay.
second session. Well, he obviously has got you're a benchmark now, so he has to keep up to that your level of. And Sumit Chaudhary, there you are. Sumi,
Thank
thank you
you.
for also including me. Thank you. It was really a very exciting session. And
Thank you.
one more time, I think I'm going to bring Subhashji back in the, yeah, that,
Thank you, Subhashi. As much as you say, Subhashi, we have been a part of. I am privileged to have your relationship with me. First, your father, now you and your brothers, and all of us at Polar, whoever are there. It has been an absolutely astounding journey because each one of us have been highly passionate about one thing, that we have to chart a different course, we have to be the winners, and we have to be perceived as the people who have made the difference in the fan industry in the product profile. So, charting a different course was one, perception of leadership being another one, and also being really true to the society in giving good products, quality service, etc., etc. So true to consumer also. So I think that true to consumers, everything helped. Yes, Polar did have a lot of product extensions. Unfortunately, what happened is we did not have coolers. We had a cooler fans and all that. Now, incidentally, there is a cooler fan and cooler pumps. Now, very early in my life, when I was only a 21-year-old greenhorn design engineer, the cooler fans, which are today known in North India and in the heartland, I was one of the two guys who had designed the cooler fan and the PD pump, which is called the water lifting pump. But that's another story. We had product extensions of the appliances. We had product extensions of the lights, which were the CFL lights at that point of time. Air coolers, we did not, but now I believe that they have air coolers and the geysers also. Why not air coolers? Air coolers had a very short life at that point of time, and in winter, heat convectors had a very short life. So we said if we have to have any product extension, brand extension, we should go into the winter products and not another product of the summer type. It was a thinking at that point of time. Today, all the fan companies have the coolers and they are doing very, very well. So, well, those were different times, I guess. So that is what it is. But I do remember, yes. Okay, good point. Uh, well, as far as Polar is concerned, I can tell you why they declined. Those were the days I was telling Sujita in the morning. Those were the days Polar fans were doing extremely well. They were the cash cows. Uh, well, money was easy to come. Collaborations were easy to come. Remember, 1991 onwards, there were all these liberalizations and all that. So I think some incorrect decisions or wrong decisions on non-related product lines were taken. Companies were set up. Perhaps the collaborations were not good. The All the companies turned out to be lemon. The stress came all on polar fans because they were the ones who were supporting it and guaranteeing it. So obviously, when such a situation happens, the brand suffers because it doesn't have the nourishment. Every brand needs nourishment on a day-to-day basis. So without going more into the detail, let me say the non-related companies which were started by the Polar Group actually were the millstone around the neck of the polar fans, and that was the kind of the working. As far as Catan is concerned, there are some internal issues I would not like to speak, though I'm fully aware of what has happened, but that was not so much of a professional kind of a decline as much as it must have been for some other reasons. So I'll refrain from commenting on that.
Okay, Hardeep, I just want to read out something over here, and then I want to go to two last questions that have come. One
Yes,
is
sir.
Mr. Subash Tebrewala. He says that I still remember a quote painted for long on the chamber of the door of Mr. Singh, which I presume is you. It said, no talks here unless they're related towards making Polar the number one brand. I believe you had this thing put up in front of your door. So that was one. And Sandeep Paul says it has been wonderful to work with you, Sandeep Paul. Lokesh Talwar says that you changed the rules of fan marketing. And but Ramesh Uppal has a question which I think
Sir.
we should address, and says that Polar and Khaitan gave a real tough time to GEC for exhaust fans, which is
Now,
a premium.
yeah. This is a product which was very close to Ramesh Uppal's heart, and he did a lot of work for this exhaust fans, for the coolers and all that. So let me say that the guy who's asking this question is a pioneer in this field. What can I say? So he is saying that we gave tough time to GC for exhaust fans, which used to have premium. But well, nobody. You are the ones who are the pioneers. We were only the people
Right.
behind it. We were having our focus on the ceiling fans. So hats off to you with both the hands.
One last question I'm putting up for Paji, again from another Paji, which says that why could not Bajaj reach at least number three? They had the best dealer network.
At that point of time, Bajaj was having a very close dealer network. Number one, number two, Bajaj was not very open-minded as far as the product profiles were concerned, and Bajaj had various. I will tell you that even Sukhdev Singh had various very strong suggestions to Bajaj, to the senior management, which were not followed, etc. If I recall correctly, if I have a recollection, my memory may not be very strong. But later on, when Bajaj put all their acts together, and today, Bajaj is one of the finest brands. Of course, they expanded their network. They went whole hog. They went into advertising and communication. They set up their own rules of the game. They are the ones who came out with the high speed fans. They were the first ones who came with all the fans to be high speed. So Bajaj was at that. Every brand has a particular time when they can blossom. I think that was not the time for Bajaj. That is all I can say. Later on, they
Right.
probably realized and then they got blossomed.
Now, what we will do is that, Sukhdev ji, one question I'll answer right away. This program is going to be turned into a video. It will remain. It will remain in the Facebook. You can always go to the link and see it. We also have a YouTube channel, Ollie's Advertising Roundtable, where we'll be uploading in a day or two. But this right now, after this, you can go and click this and you can see it. And Ram Gogia has one point, because I think I'll just close with that, saying that brands introduced after the year 2000 have expanded and crossed the leading brands in the market working since several years. Where they're not keeping eye on competition or some other reasons are there? That is a question from Ram Gogia. I think I'll put this up because that's a pretty long question and maybe you can get a better.
He is right. He is absolutely right that have expanded and crossed the leading brands. Not really. Heavens is the only brand which has been introduced and expanded. But I would say today, the rules of the game of the marketplace is different. The rules of the brands have been different. So today, I will say that all the five leading brands, six leading brands have blossomed and grown phenomenally. I would also say that in the last 3 to 4 years, or 5 years, or 6 years, about one dozen brands have come which are very, very good. Whether it is Luminous, whether it is Polycab, which is V-Guard, or whether it is the various Surya and the other brands which are odd in the BLDC, Atomberg, and others. I think the market scenario is very interesting today, Ram. One of these days we will discuss with you, and things have changed to the for the better of the consumer. Definitely, because anything which is better for the consumer will be better for the industry. With those words, I'll say, can I say thank you or any other question?
Okay, now there are some questions which are cropping up in the last minute, but I think these questions and these comments will remain in the
Okay,
Facebook
okay,
group
okay.
page. So maybe we can, one to one, you can answer them because most
Yes,
of them are
sure,
coming
sure,
from
sure.
people
My
you know.
pleasure, my pleasure.
So those
Absolutely.
will be answered. Like Subhaji has a question, sir, saying that had it been in your hands, what one thing you would have done not to have let Polar do?
What I would have
This is
done
the
one
last.
thing. I would have
Yeah.
stood on the ground. I would have stood on the ground like a housewife would have done when her husband would have been going as spending money here and there. I would have said no, nothing more. I failed in my duty as a professional person to tell the top management that no, this is it. Please don't do that, or else we'll be doomed. I failed in my duty.
You tried your best, we know that. Now, can I just hold everybody on for just 2 minutes before I come back? Just hang on. I've got an announcement to make, and this is the announcement is for the next program. The next program that we are having, the next presentation on this case study, part two, next Saturday, 7 p.m. Mr. Kishore Chakrabarti, brand consultant, who is also an educator. He has two books, formerly the Vice President Consumer Insight and Human Futures Development at McCann Worldwide Group, ex-member of the McCann Worldwide Global Training Team, who also lectures at IIFT and IIM and all kinds of places. I mean, the list is long, Shiv Nadar University. He is going to talk on culture power, role of culture in commercial communication, right? So there'll
Good.
be a detailed thing on this in the thing. So he'll be talking about that. And now the only thing that I can do is I've got two tasks to perform. One is to thank this large number of viewers, audience who have come today and who have patiently listened to this. And yes, Omio Babu and Shogoto, they have all put up their appreciation. I'm sure we will address some of them one at a time when the thing is over. This will remain on the Facebook. And sir, Mr. Hardeep Singh ji, आपको अगर ये कोई वेबिनार होता लाइव और इसके बाद मेरे को कुछ बोलना ही नहीं होता क्योंकि मेरे को पता है कि एवरीबडी वुड हैव गॉट अप ऑन देयर फीट एंड दे मस्ट हैव बीन अ स्टैंडिंग ओवेशन फॉर व्हाट यू हैव प्रेजेंटेड
Thank
and
you,
I
sir.
think
Many
everybody
thanks.
will agree with me. It has been really absolutely amazing the way amount of homework you have done. You're putting the whole thing together, and you have actually shown one very simple thing which is not there in the management books. You have to have your documentation ready and be very brave and take some risks which may or may not pay off. Risk taking, I think, was what was coming to me out of what you had presented. So, to everybody, let us all thank Hardeep ji for this wonderful and a brilliant presentation, setting the tone, setting the benchmark. So, next following speakers will now have to keep up to this. And thank you for the numbers. Once
Thank
again,
you.
thank you, Hardeep ji. We catch up.
Thank
Thank
you
you. Bye
very,
bye.
very much. Thank you. Humbled. I'm humbled. Thank you. God bless everybody and thank you, viewers. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.